Hello and welcome back to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, where last time we played through the Egg Cup on 200cc, and today we're going to be playing through the Triforce Cup on 200cc, and I'm finally going to be using Link, because I was hoping that it would happen that I just kind of got this, I got Link by happenstance, but that didn't happen, so now I'm going to deliberately choose to use Link, and we're going to use the pipe frame cars since we unlocked this last time, and we're going to use these along with the ancient tires and the paraglider. Here are the stats. And once again, we're going to make sure that smart steering, auto acceleration are indeed disabled. And so without further ado, let's dive into the Triforce Cup on 200cc. Let's do this. So, today's topic is suspension of disbelief and my thoughts on it. Now, I've mentioned, you may remember from my video when I ranted about how terrible Free Guy is, that I was very annoyed by people using the defense of suspension of disbelief in my criticisms of the movie. Now, that does not mean that I don't believe in suspension of disbelief. It means that people use it incorrectly. So allow me to give you a little brief lesson on what suspension of disbelief means for those who do not know, or for those who think they know but don't actually. Suspension of disbelief basically means that, well, it's kind of literal in that you suspend your disbelief to the point where you can engross yourself in a world, in a fictional world, because, for instance, platypuses don't talk in our world, or sorry, well, never mind. Platypuses are not, like, intelligent creatures to the point where they wouldn't serve as, for instance, secret agents in a oh dear god, I went off the edge. They wouldn't serve as secret agents in a spy organization, nor would there be a secret organization of animals, since they are not intelligent creatures capable of making decisions for themselves and, you know, being action ready for combat. So, the idea behind suspension of disbelief is that you can buy into the idea that, okay, so we're dealing with a world where platypuses can be a secret agent, okay? Or I guess a more obvious example, I probably should have gone with this first, is we're dealing with a world where toys come to life when their owners aren't around. Or we're dealing with a world where video game characters are actually living, breathing creature, or not creature, maybe that's the wrong word, but living, breathing people, essentially, in a digital world that live inside their arcade games and can navigate around the Game Central station. So that's the kind of world we're dealing with here. Now, those things obviously don't exist in the real world. So, or if you want to get conspiracy theorists about it, I could say, as far as you know, but we're not going down that road. For as far as we know, in our world, those things don't exist. So, the idea behind suspension of disbelief is you say, okay, so this doesn't exist in our world. Toys don't come to life. Video game characters don't come to life. But we're dealing with a world where those things are the case. So let's suspend my disbelief and now allow myself to enjoy the story being told. That is how it is supposed to be used. But that is not how people use it, and it is really starting to piss me off. The most prevalent example of this, or I guess the most recent example of this, is in the movie Free Guy. As a brief reminder, for those of you who don't remember, the movie concludes with the whole simulation, or the whole video game world that Ryan Reynolds lives in, is falling apart at the seams, and it's a race against the clock in order to get to the other side of the wall. Hey look, I finally made this jump. To get to the other side of the wall where the freaking original build of the game lasts, or whatever. Wow. So I used the mushroom there so that I could get the banana out and hit the shell, but the boo took away the banana right as I wow. Wow, okay. So, the simulation's falling apart at the seams, because Taika Waititi's character is destroying the servers that are holding up the freaking... Oh my god, this movie is so bad. Well, I'll make a video about it one day, don't you worry. But, yeah, so basically, he's destroying the servers with an axe, and therefore the servers are falling apart at the seams. Which doesn't make any sense, because it's not like they're getting destroyed instantly, they're getting destroyed gradually, bit by bit, Like, it's like corner, it's like they're painting themselves into a corner, except instead of paint, it's the world falling apart to the point where it corners everyone to on top of one little building, and slowly destroys the bridge that Ryan Reynolds is standing on, and doesn't destroy it instantly, which is really funny, because he just stands on the bridge for like 5 minutes while the world is falling apart. Like, you don't have time for this, buddy! But whatever. So, my criticism is, that makes no goddamn sense. Because if I were to take an axe, like for instance, if I were to take an axe to my Switch and just, you know, smash my Switch, it would not, the world inside this game wouldn't slowly be destroyed, it would instantly shut off. Same thing with an online server. If I were to destroy the server that's holding up something like, I don't know, Grand Theft Auto 5, it wouldn't slowly chip away at the server until it's all gone. It would instantly shut off because there's nothing left to sustain it anymore. But people's defense, can you guess? Suspension of disbelief. I brought up this issue to someone, and their only recourse wasn't to say, no, actually, it does make sense because this. Their response was, dude, suspension of disbelief. Suspension of disbelief! And you just want to slam your head into a brick wall whenever someone says it. I swear to God, it's so goddamn infuriating. Because it's basically a tacit admission that you have no argument. If your only recourse to a criticism of a movie or a game or a book or a story of any kind is to say, wait a minute, the suspension of disbelief, then you are tacitly conceding you have no argument. You have no argument. You have none. You have no recourse for what the person is saying, so your only response is to throw your hands up into the air and reel like a banshee and say, I will just suspend your disbelief. To which I say, no, that's not how that works. The suspension of disbelief is to get you into the world. Because in our world, video game characters don't come to life, toys don't come to life, etc., etc. Yada yada, you can extend that naturally for yourself to other movies and other games. Suspension of disbelief does not mean that a movie tells you this is how this works, and then the movie tells later that this is actually how this works, and then at that point, you have shattered your internal consistency, which has ripped me right out of the movie. I suspended my disbelief to get pulled into this world where, for instance, Monsters, Inc., a world where they have doors that can transport them from the monster dimension to the human dimension. Obviously, that doesn't exist in our world, so I'm like, okay, that's how this works. They use the scream energy from the kids to power the city. Okay, I understand the rules of this world. Now I can enjoy the story. But the thing is, Monsters, Inc. never breaks that rule. There's never a point where they're always consistent. They need the scream's power to power up the door. So, if a door doesn't work, they get booed to either cry or laugh, and then that's how they discover that laugh power is actually more powerful than scream power. So they use that as a resource to power up the doors. It's 100% consistent throughout the entire film, so I can get invested in it. But that is not the case for other movies. For instance, in Toy Story 4, Buzz, he gets, so first of all, the whole thing is that you aren't supposed to be moving in front of humans, and yet several times throughout the movie, they are very, very fast and loose with that, as if they don't care at all about being spotted, which is absolutely, it's like, what are you people doing? The whole point is you aren't supposed to be seen. I really was hoping that someone's going to hit that third crystal there, but sadly they didn't. So that's broken in of itself. But then there's also the fact that he uses some kind of slingshot maneuver to slingshot himself towards the highway, which there's problems there because he didn't have a plan in case he actually landed successfully, which he couldn't have possibly would have shattered to pieces. But then, as he's soaring through the air at very high speeds, he crashes into another amusement park ride, or carnival ride. Okay, that's annoying. And he doesn't get broke. He then gets bounced off about four other surfaces, and still sustains no damage whatsoever. And I'm sorry, but you've just ripped me right out of the movie, because in Toy Story, the very first one, Buzz literally jumped off the top of a staircase and his arm broke. So I'm sorry, buddy, but if you are soaring through the air after the speed generated by whipping around an amusement park ride, and then you slam into another amusement park ride, you are dead. Your body is shattered to pieces. Buzz Lightyear is broken. But no! He sustains no damage whatsoever, and that you've just ripped me right out of the movie. I suspended my disbelief about a world where toys can come to life. I'm in the movie now. All you have to do is stay consistent with that. But no, you shattered the consistency because now you have characters surviving things that there's no way they possibly should be able to. So you do not, but you do not, in response to that criticism, you do not tell me to suspend my disbelief because I already did that. I already got invested in the world, and then you shattered my consistency, or you shattered my suspended disbelief because you broke the world rules of your own internal consistency. It's absolutely absurd because it's not people use that term so incorrectly all the time, and it's pissing me off to no end. Anyway, that's my rant for the day. So let's go view the results. And no unlocks, but that's alright, because we still got the triple star ranking. So, that'll be it for now. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for next time, and I hope to catch you all tomorrow for some more Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Goodbye.